All right, first and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to the Akim pushing this truth and sincerity by qadash. The title of this video is, or the topic is going to be based on supply chain chaos unfolds at major Chinese ports as frozen meat containers pile up. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and read it. All right. It says new evidence from Bloomberg reveals cracking global supply chains are fast emerging at major Chinese ports, with thousands of containers of frozen meat piling up with nowhere to go. The COVID-19 outbreak, or the coronavirus outbreak, will remain a dominant issue for 1Q as supply chain shocks are being felt by multinationals on either side of the hemisphere. Sources told Bloomberg that containers of frozen pork, chicken, and beef, mostly from South America, Europe, and the U.S., are piling up at Tianjin, Shanghai, and Ningbo ports because of the lack of truck drivers, and many transportation networks remain closed. Okay, so pork, chicken, and beef from South America, Europe, and U.S. are piling up in Chinese ports because of the lack of truck drivers, and many transportation networks, okay, remain closed. So nobody can move this meat, okay, that came from South America, Europe, and U.S. So it's piling up. And here's a picture. Okay, there's a bunch of meat in there, man. It says seaports in China are quickly running out of room to house the containers and cannot provide enough electricity points to keep existing containers cold. Okay, so there's so much piling up, they can't supply electricity to keep it cold. This has forced many vessels to be rerouted to other destinations. Okay, so they're sending ships to other places. Okay. Now, basically, these global supply chains, okay, they're big organizations, and they can be from any country. Okay, and this is how the world does business with each other. There's meat, okay, that's from South America, U.S., and Europe that are in China ports. Okay, so the thing is that nobody can move it, okay, because of the coronavirus outbreak. Okay, so this is causing big problems, man. It says we've already noted that Bloomberg's Steven Stapczynski recorded footage of an oil tanker parking lot off the Singapore coast last week as refiners in China cut runs as crude consumption has collapsed by more than 4 million barrels per day. Okay, so crude consumption, oil, has collapsed by 4 million barrels per day. Why? Because they can't, they don't have nobody, they don't have no truck drivers or any way to transport it. There's a lot goes into getting food into a country. It's a long chain of steps that it takes, to get from the supplier to the end of to the consumer. All right, it's clear that logistical nightmare is unfolding as 2/3 of the Chinese economy has effectively shut down much of its production capacity. Okay, so the Chinese economy is suffering, producing a massive demand shock. Okay, the impact on the global economy is already dragging down world trade and could force the World Trade Organization to slash economic growth forecasts for the year. So the global economy is already dragging down. So this virus is affecting not only China but the world. You got a demand shock. Okay, people are demanding these things, but there's no way to get to it, and it could get spoiled. Okay, because they're not being able to freeze it. Meat has to be frozen or it'll spoil. The Chinese economy constitutes about 20% of global GDP, and supply chain disruptions across China could cause a cascading effect that could tilt the world into recession. You see, the Chinese economy constitutes about 20% of global GDP. Okay, so China's it's a big world power. It's a big factor. Okay, in supply chains. Okay, if they use their port, okay, to pass by there and unload and ship to other places, because China buys meat too, but them not having anybody to physically drive or transport it because of the quarantine in the country is making the world fall into a recession. This is what's happening. But it's not just frozen meats piling up at Chinese ports or a crude glut developing. It's not just crude oil or meat. There's a high risk that product shortages to Western countries could be 60 to 90 days out. Okay. So there's other products that are coming to the West could take 60 to 90 days to come out. Alibaba Group CEO Daniel Zhang warned last week that the supply chain disruption or shock is a black swan event for the global economy. The black swan warning was also repeated by Freeport McMoran CEO Richard Adrickson several weeks ago after he said the outbreak of the virus in China is a real black swan event. Okay, China's economy is at a standstill and could trigger the next economic crisis not seen since 2008. Okay, so what happened in China? Hey, their economy could trigger an economic crisis, man. Okay, not only there, but it could really be a ripple effect. Okay, in world trade. Okay, right. So as you can see, man, there's a bunch of meat piled up, and if you want to see the video, it's Dabu 7 also has a video up on it. Okay. Oops, Salakia. And what I want to do here is I want to go into a second esdras. This is second Esdras 16 and 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Okay, this is the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. Okay, because that meat, okay, it's gonna spoil if it doesn't get to its destination. All right, this is just the beginning. These are the signs, okay, that Yahawah Yahawashi told us that would be happening in the latter days. Okay, famine and great death. We've already seen famines in Venezuela. There's been and other parts of the world. There was in Greece. Okay, there was an economic meltdown in Greece. Okay. And this could trigger something global, okay? Especially in China, the economy is at a standstill, all right? So this is the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, right? The world powers, China is a world power, okay? They're standing in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils come, okay? And the elect is going to be protected from these evils, man. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Okay. These famines, these epidemics, all right, these troubles, they're sent to punish, okay, and correct people. Okay. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Okay. Now, people in the midst of all these things, they're still commit wickedness, and they're not mindful that these things are punishments from the Most High. They're not mindful. Okay, people are so stiff-necked, hard-hearted, and hard-headed. Okay, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Okay, now things are cheap. Okay. And people think that they're in a time of prosperity, okay, that there's peace and that they still have time. But the scriptures say the Lord comes like a thief in the night. These are the signs, okay, that we should be looking out for. It says we should be mindful. We should not forget what's going on every day, as it is something to just forget so easily. They shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And this is a great confusion. Okay, that they don't know these supply chains. Okay, these these global companies, okay, they're confused about how they're going to get their product out of China, you know. And evils are growing upon the earth, man. Sword, famine, you know. You got a lot of protests, man. 2019 was a year of protest. Okay, when you go into that word protest, you know, it's another, you know, synonymously, you know, it's known that it's an uproar. Okay, and the scriptures speak about uproars of the people. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Right. So if the famine, if lack of food don't get you, hey, the sword is gonna get you, man. Okay. You know, because there's people that are fighting in the earth. They're going against their government. You know, you got a lot of countries that are uproaring against their government. You got a lot of protests. You got a lot of angry people that are just upset. Okay, and they're gonna be destroyed with the sword. You know, you got men that are gonna pick up the sword and kill each other. You know, in these days. So the sword is gonna destroy you, if not the famine. Okay, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, because there's gonna be dead people all over. Okay. You know, there's gonna be dead people all over, like piles of crap. That's what dung is. It's crap. You see, and just like you know, you walk down the street and you see a dog crap. That's what it's gonna be like, but with bodies. And there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. Right, and the earth, you know, it's gonna be wasted. All right, there's coming a grave danger. No one's going to comfort, you know, the living. There's people going to be caught up in their own survival. You know, and you see the cities that are cast down, okay? You got Syria that's just beat down from all the war, you know. You know, cities demolished and deserted, you know. It says, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it, okay? Now, when you get this word till, it says right here, till, cultivate land, plow, cultivate, tend, work at, get by labor. All right. Now, if there's no truck drivers, okay, there's no transportation, how are they going to get it by labor? There's no man to till the earth. Why? Because they're all in quarantine, you know, because of the coronavirus. What does it say here? Salakia. Right, it says, because of the lack of truck drivers and many transportation networks remain closed. You see? The lack of truck drivers, man. Okay? So no man can labor to get these goods out of the ports of China. So the scriptures are very much true. There shall be no man left to till the earth, okay? What does it say here? Cultivate, tend, work at, get by labor, right? There's no man that can get these goods by labor. You see? You got to go into the meaning of words. You know? It says, let's see, I'm almost done. The tree shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? You see? And that's spiritual. It's spiritual that, you know, this is not talking about trees, it's talking about meat, okay? But who's gonna gather it? Who's gonna till it? Who's gonna move it? Who's gonna labor to get it to where it needs to go? Okay, these are the plagues. This is the prophecy that's coming upon the earth. The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? Okay, this is figuratively, you know, and also physically. Okay, for all places shall be desolate of men. You see, there's no, you know, and in China, people are turning to video games to talk to one another. You know, because they quarantine the land. Everybody, you know, I'm pretty sure brothers have seen the pictures of the cities are locked down. Nobody can go outside. Nobody can go outside, so people are yelling out their windows. You know, it's desolate of men. Okay, this is going down right now in China. Prophecy is speaking, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. Okay, So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice, right? You got people that are hugging, okay? They showed a woman and her daughter that were hugging through glass, pretend like they were hugging. You see people throwing kisses at each other and from far away. They're desiring to see one another and to hear his voice. So that's why you got people out there yelling out the window in the high rises, the apartments in China, to be strong. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and the clefts of the rocks. Okay, as in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Okay, or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Okay, so there's coming a time where there's going to be no man to till the fields. Okay, no man to actually pluck out, and gather the vegetables. Even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. Okay, and there's coming a time where there's going to be people that are going to be searching people's houses to find people. Okay, the government, they're going to be searching people's houses with the sword and see who they can find. Just like when a vineyard is gathered and they leave some clusters on the tree. Okay, there's going to be some people that are still, they're not going to desert their houses, or they're not going to be taken from the madmen that are sparing none and pulling them out of their house. They're going to be still left there, and there's going to be soldiers that are going to do a second sweep and try to, with guns, and the earth shall be laid waste. Okay, and the earth is being laid waste from the different chaos and the different prophecies that are coming to pass, and the fields thereof shall wax old. Okay, now these ports are waxing old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. Okay, the paths are being full of thorns because there's nobody to get these meat out of these containers, because no man shall travel there through. Okay. 35. Hear now these things, understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold the word of Yahawah, receive it, believe not the gods whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. Okay. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. You see? So we're coming onto real, crucial times. Okay, we see the birth pangs. Okay, and that when when that woman is in her 9th month, then birth pangs came, and then the child comes. There's no month, 2 months later. No, it's coming. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. And when the plagues come, they're going to come. They're not going to hold back. And the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Right, and these things are coming upon on every side. There's people all over the world wondering what's going on. You see? Oh, my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Cant. So brothers, we're seeing what's going on. We have the truth. We have to hold on and maintain. Make yourself ready to the battle, okay? Because we know that there's a World War III. We know that there's a martial law. We know that there's the hour of temptation where they're going to try to implement the chip. All these evils, and we have to be as pilgrims, man, because we are not. This is not a rest. Okay, this place will destroy us. Okay, that's why people are not mindful of the scourges, because it's not given them to the truth. The love of the truth was not given to them, but it was to us. And we believe this, so we have to be even as pilgrims, man. We're just stopping by, we seek a better place where righteousness dwells. Okay, so I just wanted to bring this out. Lord willing, it was edifying. This is what's going on right now in China and spiritually all over the world. Okay, we see this through prophecy. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to say shalom.